Title: After Rebirth, I Just Want to Concentrate on Raising Cubs. Author: Don't Stop Sugar. Copywriting: Zhang Cha was a workaholic in his previous life, separated from her husband, handed over her son to a nanny, dedicated herself to a career, and suffered from a problem at a young age. At the age of 30, he suffered from a terminal cancer and died. Opening his eyes again, Zhang Cha returned to 4 years ago. This time, she was determined not to be a workaholic, but to concentrate on taking care of her cubs. As for the husband, it doesn't matter. Shen Rang discovered that his wife has changed a lot recently. Coming to and from get off work on time, personally picking up children to and from school, studying cooking skills hard, and developing in the direction of a good wife and a good mother. However, Shen Rang later discovered that Zhang Cha has developed in the respect of the good mother. Good wife? He was almost rejected. But what to do? He was even more excited about Zhang Cha like this. Part of the information in this article is inquiring about Beidou. Please forgive me if there is any error, and I wish everyone happy every day. Small theater: when a lone mother is, Shen Ji was holding a pillow larger than himself, standing at the door of Zhang Cha, and asked pitifully, "Mom, can I sleep with you?" Zhang Cha looked at his cub and waved, "Come here, Mom will accompany you." Later, when Mom and Dad were together, one day, Shen Ji, who was afraid of thunder, hugged his pillow and came to find Zhang Cha. "Mom, cubs are afraid of QAQ." Zhang Cha felt distressed. "Come here, Mom, hug." Shen Ran rolled over and got out of bed. "Come on, son, Dad put you to sleep." Shen Ji, "QAQ, I want my mother." Shen Rang, "Cub, don't think about it, your mother is mine." Content tag: Love and Rebirth Marriage Counterattack. Search keywords: Protagonist, Zhang Cha, Shen Rang. Supporting role, Shen Ji. Others: Brief introduction: Husband and cub can have both. After Rebirth, I Just Want to Concentrate on Raising Cubs. Text/sugar nonstop. February 18, 2020. Jiuzheng Private Hospital. The elevator stopped on the 19th floor, and after a ding sound, the elevator door opened and a small figure came out from inside. 8 or 9-year-old boys, wearing black down jackets and masks, with hands in their pockets and head down, walked directly across the nurses' station towards the ward inside. The boy stopped in front of the door of 1921, looked up at the number plate, and then cautiously opened the door and walked in. This is the VIP ward, which is very large and quiet. The boy closed the door, walked in lightly, and soon saw a hospital bed and the machines running around it. The boy wanted to get close to the bed, but he seemed to think of something, and he hesitated to get close. After a long time, the boy took off his mask and yelled "Mom," very softly, almost whispering. Zhang Cha, who had not been awake in the hospital bed for several days, suddenly opened his eyes. Her eyesight is impaired, although it is not so invisible, it is also much blurred. Su is the telepathy between mother and child. Zhang Cha clearly didn't see the person who came, but whispered "Zai Zai." When Shen Ji heard Zhang Cha's voice, tears welled up in an instant. Shen Ji took 3 steps and did 2 steps, rushed to Zhang Cha's bed, held Zhang Cha's hand, and sobbed, "Mom, they said you are going to die." "Oh, I don't want you to die, Mom, you promise I don't want to die, okay?" Zhang Cha wanted to touch her son's head, but she didn't have the strength. "Good, no. Cry." Shen Ji sniffed, "I don't cry." Zhang Cha smiled. Shen Ji raised his hand, wiped away tears with his sleeve, looked at Zhang Cha and asked seriously, "Mom, can you not die?" Zhang Cha said nothing. She could not promise her son. Zhang Cha looked at the machines around her bed. It seemed that there were more machines than when she woke up last time, right? Shen Ji didn't hear Zhang Cha's response, and he understood in his heart. "Mom." Shen Ji burst into tears with a wow, and there was a tendency for the world to fall apart. "Mom, Mom, Zai Zai is obedient, Cub is obedient, can you not die?" Zai go to class obediently, and listen to what Aunt Zhang said. Zai, hiccups, and cubs are no longer picky eaters. Listening to his son, Zhang Cha felt sour. Whenever there is still a slight possibility, she is willing to work hard to try various methods to heal herself. But she knew her own body very well. The current Jiang Cha is simply the end of the battle. Zai. Jiang Cha's voice was masked by Shen Ji's bitter cry. Shen Ji's cry was too loud and attracted the attention of the nurse outside. The nurse in charge of 1921 opened the door and was shocked to see Shen Ji. She knew that this was Jiang Cha's son, and hurriedly came over to pull him out of the ward. Young Master Shen, when did you get in here? Hurry up! I am going out. Shen Ji firmly grasped Jiang Cha's hand, resisting all over his body. I won't go. I want to accompany my mother. The nurse glanced at Jiang Cha, not daring to use too much force, and persuaded, Young Master, didn't Mr. Shen said that last time? You are not allowed to come over. I don't, you let me go. Shen Ji turned his head and took a bite according to the nurse's arm. The nurse let go of Shen Ji with O. Shen Ji leaned on the bedside, closer to Jiang Cha. He is now like a little beast cub protecting food, his whole body is on guard, refusing anyone to approach. Shen didn't know when he would see Jiang Cha next time, he just felt flustered in his heart, instinctively he could not go. The nurse is very embarrassed, and she doesn't want to compete with the young master. It is true that Mr. Shen explained it last time, and she also listened to the leadership. Little master. Shen Ji looked at the nurse angrily. What's the matter? A low male voice came from outside the door. The nurse's eyes lit up and she turned her head as if she saw a savior. President Shen, you are here, young master refuses to leave. Shen Rang first glanced at Shen Ji, then turned his gaze on the nurse's hand. Sorry, you should go and treat the wound first, I'll take care of it here. The nurse secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Okay Mr. Shen. When the nurse left, Shen Ran squatted down / come over and waved to Shen Ji, come here. Shen Ji grabbed Jiang Cha's hand and shook his head, flat his mouth and shouted aggrieved dad. Shen Rang sighed. Shen Rang stood up and walked towards Shen Ji. Shen Ji was afraid, and wanted to hide, but the place was so big, where else could he hide? Shen Rang raised his hand, rubbed his big palm on Shen Ji's head, his voice was gentle, are you afraid? You, dad. Shen Ji plunged into Shen Rang's arms, clutching the clothes on his waist with both hands, I don't want my mother to die. Shen Rang looked at Jiang Cha, but he said to his son, Zai, my mother is sick, and she is very sick. I'm afraid there is no way to continue to accompany you. Shen Rang knew that this was a bit cruel to a child who longed for maternal love, but he had no way to lie to his son, and his mother could survive. Jiang Cha slowly raised his hand and took off the oxygen mask. Shen Rang's eyes widened, and he pulled away the son in front of him to stop her. Jiang Cha shook his head, don't wear it anymore. Shen stopped his movements, and then sat beside the bed with Shen Ji in his arms. Jiang Cha looked at her handsome husband and his beautiful son with red eyes, and smiled softly. Zubzai, mother is sorry for you. Shen Ji hugged Shen and made his neck cry. Jiang Cha's spirit improved a lot at this moment, and she felt in her heart that she knew what was going on. Shen Rang. Jiang Cha looked at him with a calm face, I am not a qualified wife, nor a good mother. In this life, I am sorry for you and Zai. No. Shen Rang covered Jiang Cha's hand and said softly, you didn't apologize to us. Jiang Cha sighed and did not continue. Going on, I'm afraid I'll pierce them with a knife. After a while, Zhang Chadao said, after I am gone, if you marry another wife, I hope you can get the consent of Zai. No, I don't want others, I want my mother. There will be no one else, my wife is only you. Jiang Cha instantly turned red. In her whole life, She has been a workaholic who is striving to be competitive, and it was completely an accident to marry Shen Rang and have a son. Probably it was her irresponsible behavior that angered God, and she was terminally ill, and she was leaving early. Zhang Cha is full of guilt. If she can do it again, she will definitely not just focus on work, but unfortunately, there is no if. Shen Rang, can you tell me something about Zai's childhood? Shen Rang paused. Okay. Zhang Cha closed her eyes, refused Shen Rang to put on her an oxygen mask, and said softly, let's do it, I'm listening. Shen let his throat choke. Okay. Shen Ran's voice was soft, telling Zhang Cha what he knew Shen Ji. As Zhang Cha listened, the corners of her lips curled up slowly. After a long time, the ECG monitor made a piercing deep sound. Shen Rang watched the line on the machine panel straighten, and Shen let his voice choke, stuck in his throat, and hugged Shen Ji's arms tightly. Zai. Dad. Mom, gone. There is a meeting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In the evening, Manager Zhang from Yueyang department store invites you to dinner. There will be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Zhang Cha felt a pain in his head and was buzzing. Stop talking. Zhang Cha interrupted the assistant and rubbed her head. The assistant was startled and asked cautiously, Vice President Zhang? Are you okay? Are you feeling sick? Do you need to be taken to the hospital? Zhang Cha opened his eyes fiercely, where is this? Vice President? Zhang Cha turned his head, and then he was taken aback. It was her assistant Bai Fei, the younger Bai Fei. Zhang Cha glanced around, this is her office? Zhang Cha stood up, what did you just tell me? Oh, you have a meeting in the afternoon. In the evening, Manager Zhang from Yueyang department store invites you to dinner, and tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Okay, I'll push away. Zhang Cha turned around and took his coat, and walked out on high heels. Bai Fei was surprised, what did she hear? Push away? Is this the Vice President Zhang she knows? Bai Fei hurried to catch up, Vice President Zhang, I really can't push the afternoon meeting. I said I would push it away. Zhang Cha had already put on his coat as he ran away, with a firm attitude, I have urgent things to do now, and everything will be delayed. Vice President? What's wrong? Shen Rang's voice came from behind, and Zhang Cha stopped. President Shen. Bai Fei bowed slightly, the Vice President has a meeting in the afternoon, which is more important? The Vice President asked to push it away. This. Shen Rang said and walked to Zhang Cha, what's the matter in such a hurry? Zhang Cha looked up at him, feeling strange and familiar. She was suddenly cramped. What happened? Shen Rang frowned slightly, Zhang Cha he knew would not show such an expression. Zhang Cha took a deep breath and clenched her hands, I want to go home. Go home. Shen Rang remembered that his son and the nanny were at home. What's wrong at home? Not so much. Zhang Cha raised his hand and pushed Shen Rang, and then remembered Shen Rang who was sitting in front of the hospital bed and telling her about her son, trying to make her tone less rigid, explaining, I suddenly panicked. I want to go home and have a look. Vice President. Bai Fei still has something to say. Shen Rang waved his hand, let's go, I'll take you back. Zhang Cha looked at Shen Rang for a few seconds before nodding, okay. The two left the company quickly in tandem. Shen. Zhang. Bai Fei stomped her feet and muttered softly, what's the matter with this? Assistant Bai, have you seen President Shen? Bai Fei turned around, Assistant Xin, President Shen and Vice President Zhang are leaving together. Xin Yin is Shen Rang's assistant, and one of the few insiders who knows about the relationship between Shen Rang and Zhang Cha. He was taken aback when he heard the words, leave together. Bai Fei was unsure, so she nodded, Vice President Zhang seems to have something wrong at home, President Shen said, send her home. That's it. Xin Yin took out his phone and began to adjust Shen Rang's schedule. You go and do your business. Bai Fei was taken aback. What's the matter with me? Xin Yin glanced at her. Does Vice President Zhang have no schedule in the afternoon? Oh, well, I'm going now, I'm going to do it now. Bai Fei bowed and apologized to Xin Yin, and hurried to her office. When did Vice President Zhang and President Shen have such a good relationship? The author has something to say. I haven't seen you for many days. Miss everyone. There are red envelopes in the first 3 chapters. Tweet everyone. There is a lottery at the top of Weibo. Remember to forward it. Pick up The Richest Man and Be a Mate is expected to open in late April. Please collect it. Jin Zhao is the ideal husband-in-law of the ladies in Kyoto, young and weak, handsome, or the richest man in Nanping. His only drawback is that he is not in good health and will drive home at any time. When Qiaowan found Fu Jinzhao, his face was pale, his breath was weak, and he could not live long. Qiaowan thought that if he died, she would bury him well, which would be considered a good deed. Unexpectedly, Fu Jinzhao not only survived, but also relied on her. Later, Fu Jinzhao was moved by this hard-mouthed little girl. Qiao died of torture all his life at night, and a roll of straw mat was thrown in the mass grave, but his soul was out of his body but unable to reincarnate. Seeing the first 7 generals passed, when Qiao was about to become a wild ghost, a carriage passed by, and the son in the carriage ordered his servant to bury his body. Qiaowan accepted her affection. Before her consciousness disappeared, she saw engraved on the wall of the carriage. Opening his eyes again, Qiaowan returned to the age of 16. This year, Qiaowan has 2 wishes. 1. Leave this home that sold her into the fire pit. 2. Find young Master Fu, and repay the slave for the maidservant. Small theater. Qiaowan suspected that Fu Jinzhao was a benefactor in his previous life. Qiaowan asked cautiously, Fu Jinzhao, what would you do if you saw a corpse on the side of the road? Fu Jinzhao casually replied, go over. Joe Knight. Okay, you don't have a lady anymore. Shen Rang hurried slightly with Zhang Cha. While waiting for the elevator, Shen Rang suddenly said, relax. Zhang Cha was a little surprised, glanced at Shen Rang, and let out a low N. The elevator came quickly. Shen Rang let Zhang Cha go in first, and he followed. There were 2 people coming downstairs in the elevator. Seeing them entering the elevator, they hurriedly said hello, President Shen, Vice President Zhang. Zhang Cha's heart is deep, so he nodded slightly. Seeing her tense, Shen Rang said, don't be too nervous, you will scare him again later. The colleague quietly pricked his ears. He? Who? Zhang Cha nodded, I know, but I don't worry if I don't see him. Shen Rang said I know, just drive my car away in a while, you are upset, driving is dangerous. Good. Zhang Cha did not think much about it. This surprised the 2 people who were silently doing the background board in the elevator. In the whole Jiuzheng, who didn't know that the relationship between President Shen and Vice President Zhang was not very good. Although it is not a bad relationship, it is definitely not such a relationship that can ride each other. The 2 looked at each other and shivered unconsciously when they remembered that Vice President Zhang and President Shen had fought each other in the conference room. Vice President Zhang came to Jiuzheng for nearly 3 years, and it was the first time they saw the 2 speak so peacefully. It is a miracle of Jiuzheng. So the 2 took out their phones and sent messages in their small group. A. Hurry, hurry. Big news. B. Yes, there is a very big incident. A few seconds after the news of the 2 people A and B were sent out, 2 other people in the group also came out. C and D, what's wrong? A. We met Mr. Shen and Deputy Manager Zhang in the elevator. C. Don't you meet every day? What's so surprising? B. It's not the same. It seems that President Shen and Vice President Zhang are going somewhere together, and President Shen also let Vice President Zhang ride in his car, sisters. C and D. Real or fake? Didn't Mr. Shen never take others in his car? Yes, that's why I said it was big news. Ding, I seem to smell a slightly different smell. Fuck you, there are some things that smell different. How many times have you smelled in the company, and none of them is true? BNC, that's true. We will follow President Shen secretly for a while to see whether Vice President Zhang is sitting in the co-pilot or behind. Sometimes, the more anxious, the worse. I don't know what's wrong with this elevator today. I went down from the 23rd floor and stopped 7 or 8 times. And just when Zhang Jackson was about to grind, the elevator finally reached the parking lot on the first floor. Let's go. Shen Rang raised his hand to block the elevator door on one side and let Zhang Cha go out first. Zhang Cha stepped out of the elevator door on high heels. The parking lot is a bit cold, Zhang Cha wears a little bit today, shivering, only for a moment. Shen Rang called her, Vice President Zhang. Hey! Zhang Cha turned around, what's the matter? Shen Rang took off his coat and put it on Zhang Cha, don't catch a cold. Zhang Cha was taken aback, and Shen Rang had already passed her and walked forward. Zhang Cha pulled her clothes and followed. Fear.jpga, what did I see? Mr. Shen actually took off his coat and put it on Vice President Zhang? CND? B. Betting on afternoon tea, Vice President Zhang will take the co-pilot. No need to bet, I think so too. Humans are really very curious creatures, and the two followed Shen Rang and Zhang Cha arm in arm. Anyway, they are going to pick up the car too. Zhang Cha felt weird in his heart, after all, it was the first time that Shen Rang had acted like this. Unsurprisingly, Shen Rang opened the door of the co-pilot and sat in with Zhang Cha. Secretly took a picture and sent it to the small group. The truth. Shen Rang noticed the latter two people, but didn't care. The car drove all the way out of the parking lot. Shen allowed the car to drive very steadily. When he got on the main road and waited for the red light, he turned the air conditioning up a bit. Now there are only two of us, can I ask you a few questions? Zhang Cha nodded, ask. She clearly knew that Shen Rang would definitely ask. After all, she and Shen Rangkong realized that there had never been such a panic situation now. Worried about Zai Zai? Zhang Chen said. Why? There is a nanny at home, why are you worried for no reason? Zhang Cha clenched her hand tightly. When I just woke up, it was indeed out of regret in my previous life that I wanted to see my son immediately. But coming down from the 23rd floor, Zhang Cha has calmed down. She remembered what Shen Ji had said to her when she was dying. Zai Zai go to class obediently, and listen to what Aunt Zhang said, Zai Zai, hiccups, and cubs are no longer picky eaters. Why? She is dying, why does her son still talk about what Aunt Zhang said? Say you're never picky eaters anymore? When she died in her last life, Shen Ji was already 8 years old in elementary school. Even if the babysitter is brought up by one hand and has a deep relationship with the babysitter, shouldn't we say at this time, we are all reluctant to say similar things like you? Why are you alone and never picky eaters anymore? Seeing Zhang Cha, Shen Rang didn't speak for a long time, don't you know how to say it? N. Zhang Cha said in a low voice, it's okay, I'm afraid you will laugh when you say it. Shen Rang was taken aback, then smiled, I never laugh at you. Zhang Cha pursed her lips, I just dreamed that something happened to Zai Zai. Just because of a dream. Shen Rang was surprised, it's not like you. I know. Zhang Cha tilted her head against the glass window, not at all like Zhang Cha in the past, she whispered softly, I also think it's not like me at all. Shen Rang settled his eyes, and then applied force on his feet, don't worry, it will be here soon, adjust your emotions, lest Zai Zai is scared when nothing is wrong. Good. Lanwan district is 20 minutes away from Jiuzheng by car. Shen Rang drove a little bit faster today. Two people arrived in 12 or 3 minutes. At this time, there were basically no cars in the community, and it took the two of them a few minutes to get downstairs. After swiping the card, the elevator rose all the way to the 20th floor. Zhang Cha took off her high-heeled shoes and held it in her hand, tiptoeing closer to 2001. Shen Rang didn't know why, but followed Zhang Cha and kept quiet. Zhang Cha attached ears to the door, listening to the movement inside. Very quiet. At the beginning, the best materials were used in the decoration of the house, and the sound insulation was also very good. Zhang Cha laughed silently. How could she think that she could hear the voice inside? Zhang Cha put his shoes on the ground, and when he had just put them on, he was about to open the door when he heard the sound of something falling from the house. Zhang Cha's finger was less than a centimeter from the fingerprint machine on the door. At this moment, Shen Rang also noticed something was wrong. The two were almost holding their breath, listening to the movement inside. Do you eat or not? Do you eat or not? Little boy, I can tell you that if you don't swallow these things today, you don't want to go anywhere. Eat. Give it to me. Zhang Cha fiercely clenched his hands. Shen made his expression extremely serious. Zhang Cha really didn't expect that after 2 years of being a nanny in her house, it turned out to be such a virtue in secret. Abuse her son? Mixed with the nanny's angry voice, there was also Shen Ji's crying. But the crying sounded 2 times before it was gone. Zhang Cha didn't hesitate anymore, pressed his fingerprints and opened the door directly. The babysitter was still very angry, but for a while, he didn't hear the door or anyone coming back. The nanny turned his back to Zhang Cha and Shen Rang, and a lot of food was sprinkled on the ground and on the coffee table. The babysitter picked up the fallen meals from the ground and threw them into the bowl, picking up a little bit and then stuffing them into Shen Ji's mouth. Shen Ji's little one was pinched by the nanny and forced to feed the meal, his face flushed. Zhang Cha is short of breath. What are you doing? The babysitter was taken aback, and fell to the ground without holding his jaw, with a boom sound. The babysitter was stunned and stood up. Miss Zhang. Zhang Cha didn't have time to talk nonsense with her, so he walked over and pushed her away, then picked up Shen Ji, and dig out all the stuff in his mouth. Nothing blocked, Shen Ji cried out with a wow. Zhang Cha drew 2 wet wipes and wiped Shen Ji's face and mouth, his fingers trembling in anger. Her son was so frightened that he didn't even dare to cry and choked all the time. Zhang Cha lightly patted Shen Ji on the back, thinking of how many such encounters his son had in an invisible place. Zhang Cha wanted to kill the nanny directly. Miss Zhang. The nanny sneered. Zhang Cha went coldly, and 2 words popped out between his teeth. Shut up, mouth. The nanny shrank his neck, a little afraid of Zhang Cha like this. Although Zhang Cha didn't smile much in the past, she only felt that she was inaccessible, and she had never had such a chilling feeling. The nanny knew Zhang Cha would not let her go, and stood there with his eyes turned straight, thinking about how to get out for a while. Zhang Cha coaxed Shen Ji for a while, and Shen Ji fell asleep dizzy. His little hands clenched Zhang Cha's clothes tightly, as if grabbing his only life-saving straw. Zhang Cha's tears fell down, biting her lip fiercely, and awakened her son for fear of crying. Shen Rang stood beside Zhang Cha. He was sad. As a father, he is really dereliction of duty. Both he and Zhang Cha belonged to the workaholic category, and neither of them had much feeling for this unexpected child. From the birth of the child to the present, Shen Ji is 4 years old, and the time spent with the two of them is only a handful. The Shen family hired a few nanny, and finally stayed with such a large amount of money, which turned out to be a child abuser. No wonder. It's no wonder that in the rare time with his son has always been very cautious, and he is not very courageous. Shen Rang always thought that he and Zhang Cha were not accompanied by his side, which caused the child to not get close to them. Shen Rang raised his eyes and glanced at the surveillance at home. It has been installed for a few years, whether it is him or Zhang Cha, even if he takes a quick look at the child, it will not make the child be bullied by the nanny. Shen Rang closed his eyes. It was his fault, he was not a good husband, not a good father. Shen Rang raised his hand, put it on Zhang Cha's shoulder, and lowered his voice, "You hold your baby and go in first, I'll take care of it." "No." Zhang Cha calmed down, raised his eyes to look at Shen Rang, and then got up. Zhang Cha put Shen Ji carefully into Shen Rang's arms and helped him adjust his posture. Shen Rang spends less time holding the child, and his movements are a bit blunt. However, Shen Ji didn't mean to wake up at all, instead he rubbed his arms. At this moment, Shen Rang felt that something was different. Zhang Cha patted Shen Ji, and whispered to Shen, "You carry your child in, close the door, and I will deal with it." Shen Rang wanted to refuse, he was afraid that Zhang Cha would be bullied. Zhang Cha smiled, but there was no temperature in his eyes. "Go, when the time comes, someone will say that our Shen family men bully women." "Our Shen family." Shen Rang muttered a few words in his heart and agreed to Zhang Cha's proposal. Shen Rang went to the room holding Shen Ji, Zhang Cha kept watching. When the door was closed, Zhang Cha took a deep breath and turned to look at the babysitter. The nanny took a step back subconsciously. "Zhang, Miss Zhang, I can explain, really, I can explain." Zhang Cha raised his hand and slapped towards the nanny. "Explain your mother." Shen Rang in the room was putting Shen Ji on the bed. Hearing these words, the back of his neck suddenly felt cold. "The outside, is Jiang Cha?" The author has something to say. "Oh you, sorry for us." There are red envelopes thanks to the little angel who cast the grenade, 1 technical player, thanks to the little angel who threw landmines, 3 super well-behaved Lindongdi, 1 candy paper, thanks to the little angel who irrigated the nutrient solution, 3 bottles of super well-behaved Lindongdi. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. You vicious woman! Our Shen family paid you to come, did you let you beat my son? Do you have no children or grandchildren yourself? Should I eat less for you or wear less for you? What do I eat for my son?" Zhang Cha was really angry. She had never thought that one day she would actually yell at someone so much older than her like a shrew. But she really couldn't bear it. It was her son, a piece of meat that fell from her body when she was pregnant in October. Zhang Cha regretted it very much. Why did he be so negligent to his son, so devoted to work? What if he was exhausted? "Zhang Ying." Zhang Cha gritted her teeth, "I absolutely, I won't just leave it alone." The nanny who was slapped sobbed, "Miss Zhang, I know I was wrong, Miss Zhang. I shouldn't abuse the young master. Give me a chance. You also know that this is abuse." Zhang Cha knelt down and stared at the babysitter's eyes, "Then you should also know that abuse is illegal." Zhang Cha stood up, found his mobile phone, called the police first, and then called the rest of the family. The babysitter panicked completely. After venting, Zhang Cha was tired. She sat on the edge of the sofa, wherever she could see, there were rice grains and scattered vegetables. And some of these were stuffed into her son's mouth. Zhang Cha didn't move, these are all evidences. Shen Rang came out, closed the door gently, and walked to Zhang Cha. "Mr. Shen." The nanny seemed to think that men are better than women. The nanny ran up to Shen Rang and knelt down and grabbed the corner of his clothes, begging Shen Rang, "Mr. Shen, I beg you, I know it's wrong, you and Miss Zhang have a lot, forgive me." The nanny burst into tears, "My husband is disabled, and I have 2 children and parents-in-law. The whole family points to me to support me. If I don't have any income, my whole family will be gone." Shen Rang looked down. The nanny continued, "My 2 children are still in school, I beg you, Mr. Shen, let me go. I can't let them discredit. Your husband is disabled? 2 school children, and parents-in-law to support." Shen Rang repeated. The nanny nodded repeatedly, "Yes, Mr. Shen, it is really difficult for the whole family to rely on me as a woman to support the family. But Shen made his voice extremely cold. What does that have to do with me? Shen, Mr. Shen. The nanny let go of the corners of Shen Rang's clothes in his hand and gave a chuckle in his heart. Shen Rang took off the clothes touched by the nanny, and threw it aside. You have work and money, and our Shen family has given a lot. Your family is difficult and the conditions are not good. Why is my child abused? Our child is also the treasure of the Shen family. Baby. The nanny stunned, and then smiled. Mr. Shen, you don't care about your children at all. Now you don't want to let me go, but you feel that your face is damaged. The nanny said, it's not the first time I am a nanny in a wealthy family. I can guess your idea. The child is just a tool for you to pass on from generation to generation. How good or bad have you ever had? So. Zhang Cha slowly said, you mean, our child, did you ask for it? The babysitter shook his head. I can only say that there is also a kind of sorrow in a family like yours. Sad. Zhang Cha sneered, you don't care about him here. We are negligent to our children. It is true that we do not accompany our children at work, but this cannot be a reason for your child abuse. Zhang Cha looked at the nanny from head to toe, and this kind of scrutiny made the nanny extremely uncomfortable. The nanny tucked her hair and patted her clothes. In short, she felt that nothing was right. When Zhang Cha looked at her, she felt very shameless. Puff. Zhang Cha suddenly laughed. Zhang Ying, do you think you have a face? In such a big house during the day, wearing clean and decent clothes, occasionally go out for a stroll or buy a dish, and someone will pay you a salary. Let me think about it. Zhang Cha raised Erlang's legs, fingers propped his chin. Maybe you were not like this at the beginning, as you said before, you also worked as a babysitter in other wealthy people, you have met many people, and you have even seen many people who do nothing but live very well all day. They don't do anything. Usually they just go shopping, drink tea, and do beauty treatments. They have money in the card and they may choose to pick you up. Maybe you think, all women, how can people live so well? Our home is not like other people's homes. Shen and I are not at home during the day. Sometimes we work overtime for many days and we don't come back. Only you and Shen Ji are in the house. Over time, this will give you the illusion that you are here. Owner. On weekdays, you take Shen Ji out and meet people in the community. I guess you will never say that you are a nanny. Zhang Ying has stopped speaking, with sweat in her palms, and she can't find words to refute. She is indeed fascinated by life. At the beginning, she worked as a nanny just to make some money to raise a family, but as the more people she went to, the more she felt envied. Not fate with others. The former hostesses didn't have to do anything, and they were all up to the nanny. When the mood is good, hug the child, and when the mood is bad, I won't see the child for a day. Every day is to go shopping and spend money, go to the beauty salon to take care of yourself. Zhang Ying was envious and turned into jealousy. Coupled with the fact that some mistresses would give her some clothes, Zhang Ying started to be in a trance, thinking that if she tidied up, she wouldn't be like a nanny. Coming to Shen's house as a nanny was the easiest day in Zhang Ying's nanny career. Except for a Shen Ji who needs to be taken care of, she doesn't care about anything. Shen Rang and Zhang Cha were not often at home. On 2 occasions, she was upset and pinched Shen Ji twice. Afterwards, she was worried for a long time and did not see anyone trouble her, so she became more courageous. Today, she angered her because she put garlic in the dish, and Shen knew that she didn't like it and refused to eat it. Zhang Cha's analysis of Zhang Ying was almost 90%, and Zhang Ying had nothing to say. The entrance bell rang. Shen Rang got up and glanced at the video screen. It was the police who had arrived. Shen allowed to open the door, and then went out to swipe the elevator card. Miss Zhang. Zhang Ying's voice was hoarse. Are we going to reconcile it in private? If I really call the police, I won't be able to continue doing this in the future. Zhang Cha said lightly, you should have known your results long ago. Miss Zhang. Zhang Ying didn't give up. Zhang Cha got up, if you have anything, go and talk to the police. Zhang Yingdi sat on the ground. Until the police came in, Shen asked Zhang Cha to talk to him, and then put his hands in handcuffs. Zhang Ying still felt in a daze. Zhang Ying! Zhang Cha shouted, what have you done? It's best to tell the truth, so that everyone can save some energy. Zhang Ying opened her mouth and said nothing. Shen Rang sent the police away, and he happened to receive the old couple from the Shen family who rushed downstairs. If you have anything, go up and talk about it. Back in 2001, Zhang Cha was packing up the coffee table and the things on the ground. The police have taken photos, and these things can naturally be cleaned up. Zhang Cha. Shen Rang said softly, my parents are here. Zhang Cha turned his head, then got up, Dad, Mom, you are here. Mother Shen walked quickly to Zhang Cha and looked at her. Zhang Cha looked at him. A few seconds later, Mother Shen stretched out her hand and hugged Zhang Cha, it's okay. Zhang Cha hugged Shen's mother, crying very depressed. Father Shen had something to ask on the way here, but at this moment he couldn't say anything. Father Shen patted Shen Rang on the shoulder, we must give Zai an explanation for this matter. Shen let the Adam's apple roll, I know, Dad. Mother Shen and Zhang Cha went to see Shen Ji, who was still sleeping, and Father Shen explained something to Shen Rang. This chat is past one afternoon. Shen's father and Shen's mother refused the offer to stay for dinner. The two had something to deal with in the evening, and they knew that the child was okay, so they told Shen to accompany the child first. Shen Rang went to send his parents downstairs, and Zhang Cha began to prepare dinner. Shen Ji slept for a whole afternoon and still didn't wake up, but he cried twice in the middle of the night, and then went back to sleep after being coaxed. When Shen Rang came back, Zhang Cha was cutting vegetables. She only did this when she was in school, and later married Shen Rang, and never did it again. But it doesn't matter, she will pick it up little by little. Shen Rang looked at it for a while, took off his jacket and washed his hands, and stood beside Zhang Cha. Zhang Cha glanced at him and chuckled, Master Shen did it. I haven't done it. Shen Rang observed her movements, I can learn. Zhang Cha laughed, I haven't done it for a long time, so I took a kitchen knife and handed it. It's okay. Shen Rang took the knife in her hand, and slowly cut it as Zhang Cha did just now. In the future, we will learn it slowly. Zhang Cha was stunned for a long time before he let out an N. Mom. Shen Ji's small, soft voice came. Zhang Cha and Shen Rang turned their heads. Shen knew that there was a cowardice in their eyes as they were climbing the door frame with both hands. Zhang Cha walked over and squatted in front of Shen Ji, with a sore nose and wanted to cry, but she held it back again. Zhang Cha took a deep breath, tried to make herself laugh, and raised her hand to rub Shen Ji's hair. We cubs woke up, are you hungry? Shen Ji stared at Zhang Cha blankly. He only felt that his mother was a lot stranger than his previous mother, but she felt better. Zhang Cha picked up Shen Ji and walked to the kitchen, Daddy will cook tonight, okay? Okay. Shen Ji is 4 years old, but his voice is still milky. Zhang Cha looked at him, only feeling that his heart was about to melt. In the past, I probably had a brain block, so such a cute cub, why didn't he spend more time and spend a little thought to accompany him? Shen Ji was very obedient, got off Zhang Cha, ran to Shen Rang, raised his head, and whispered, Dad, Xiao Ji knows how to wash vegetables. Both Shen Rang and Zhang Cha talked about this. A 4-year-old kid said to his father so skillfully that he can wash vegetables. Zhang Cha secretly gritted his teeth, Zhang Ying. Mom. Shen Ji looked back with a question. Zhang Cha smiled, it's okay, with Dad. Shen Ji bent his eyebrows and nodded vigorously, well. This meal is probably the happiest meal that Shen Ji has eaten in the past few months. Mom and Dad are there, and there is no Aunt Zhang that I hate. Shen knew his own small bowl, ate a bowl and a half, and hiccuped. Zhang Cha glared at Shen Rang, tell you not to eat so much for him, his belly is hardened. My fault, my fault. Shen Rang had a good temper. Mom, don't blame Dad, it is Zai who wants to eat it. The dishes prepared by Mom and Dad are so delicious, Zai is greedy. Zhang Cha felt uncomfortable and touched his son's head, let your father do the dishes and mother play with you. Mom, Zai can help Dad do it together. No, just let your father do it himself. Shen Ji looked at Shen Rang with a kind of caution. Shen Rang smiled, touched his head, and whispered softly, go and play with Mom. Shen Ji is relieved now. It's easy to see if he is a child, even if he is a little careful. Zhang Cha and Shen Rang knew that Shen Ji's current state was wrong, but for now they could only appease him and let him rest assured. After 9 o'clock, Shen Ji began to rub his eyes. Zhang Cha took him to the room, guarded him for a while, and came out. She and Shen Rang sat in the living room, silently looking at each other. I obviously feel that I have a lot to say, but I can't say anything. Shen Rang. Yab. Mom. Shen Ji's voice interrupted their conversation. Zhang Cha turned his head. I saw Shen Ji, who was wearing a black and white cow one-piece pajamas, holding a small pillow of the same color, with expectation in his eyes and apprehension. Mom, can I sleep with you? The author has something to say, Zhang Cha and Shen Rang are wrong and will correct it. There are red envelopes. With a shy blush, the son looked at her brightly as if there were stars in his eyes. Can Zhang Cha refuse? Cannot. Shen Rang, let's talk about these things tomorrow, I will sleep with Zai today. Shen Rang nodded, okay, rest early. Yab. Zhang Cha got up and walked towards Shen Ji. As soon as he reached the door, Zhang Cha stopped again and looked back at Shen Rang, slightly hesitant. Shen Rang, hey? Anything else to say? N. Zhang Cha let out an uncomfortable cough, you, rest early, don't be too late. Shen Rang was taken aback, then smiled, okay. Zhang Cha deliberately messed up Shen Ji's hair, go, Mom coax you to sleep. Shen Ji feels a little strange, but adults are always weird, not as cute as him. Zhang Cha was not sleepy, half leaning against the head of the bed, Shen Ji snuggling next to her, smiling secretly with his eyes closed. Zhang Cha lowered his head, what are you laughing at? Aren't you sleepy? Mom. Shen Ji opened his eyes to look at her, I feel very happy. How? Shen Ji smiled, Mom and Dad are so nice. Is that all right? Zhang Cha lay down, holding Shen Ji in his arms, in the future, my mother will be with you more. If you like or dislike, tell your mother, okay? We don't eat what we don't like, and don't wear what we don't like. Mom will listen to your opinion, okay? But... Shen Ji whispered, Aunt Zhang said, that is a bad boy, and a good boy can't be picked. Zhang Cha sighed in his heart, no, Zai, this is not a bad boy. Everyone can have their own preferences. You have to tell your mother so that your mother can understand you better, and you can avoid the things you don't like when you buy things in the future. And Zai, in the past, my mother rarely accompanied you. It was my mother's fault. Can Zai forgive my mother? Mom and Dad are busy making money, Zai knows. Shen Ji checked with fingers. Zai eats, puts on clothes, goes to kindergarten, and has toys, and Aunt Zhang takes care of Zai. All of them need money. Zhang Cha held his son's little hand, from now on, there will be no Aunt Zhang in our family. Really? Shen Ji was very happy, and seemed to be lost after thinking of something. But without Aunt Zhang, will other aunts come? No, there will only be mother. Zhang Cha took Shen Rang with him after a meal, and father. Thank you mom. Shen Ji pouted and kissed Zhang Cha's face. Mom, Xiao Ji is sleepy. Zhang Cha patted Shen Ji. Mom tells you a story, what does Xiao Ji want to hear? The ugly duckling. Okay. Zhang Cha said softly, once upon a time, there was a mother duck. She had many eggs, but her favorite was the little duck named Shen Ji. The next morning, Shen Rang and Zhang Cha still cooked breakfast together. Shen Ji never refused the food they fed, and Zhang Cha controlled it, so he didn't let him eat it again. Zhang Cha poured milk for Shen Ji. Xiao Ji, don't hold on to it if you can't eat it, just tell your mother. Shen Ji looked at his remaining half bowl of rice, but, it will be wasted. Zhang Cha smiled and took Shen Ji's small bowl to comfort him. It won't be wasted, Xiao Ji, you have a father. Shen Rang, who had just swallowed the last bite of food. Zhang Cha smiled and put Shen Ji's rice bowl in front of Shen Rang. Dad knows that Xiao Ji can't eat it and keeps his stomach, isn't it Shen Rang? Shen Rang? No, I don't have one. You are my wife and you can't talk nonsense like this with your eyes open. However, Shen Rang's heart and actions are opposite. He picked up the chopsticks again and nodded, yes, your mother, everything is right. So, under the watchful eyes of his wife and son, Shen Rang ate the leftovers from his son's first meal in 27 years. But my own son, there is nothing to dislike. After breakfast, Shen Rang and Zhang Cha discussed what Shen knew what to do today. The kindergarten only starts in mid-March, and there are still nearly 20 days left. They don't plan to find a nanny to bring Shen Ji, which means that Zhang Cha and Shen Ji will become the main parents of children for the next 20 days. Labor force. Shen Ji was sitting in the living room playing Lego by himself. Zhang Cha checked the time and discussed with Shen Rang, it's better, today take Zai to the company. Zhang Cha's proposal was completely unexpected by Shen Rang. Shen Rang was surprised, don't you want to make it public? So the children are all 4 years old, and few people in Jiuzheng know that Mr. Shen and Vice President Zhang, who are always tit for tat, turned out to be a couple and a 4-year-old son. Zhang Cha waved his hand, now everything is given priority to small knowledge. I am not unwilling to disclose it, but I don't want to have those messy and troublesome things. Speaking of this, Zhang Cha had a smile in his eyes, and she glanced at Shen Rang. After all, Mr. Shen is Jiashan's Diamond King, so many young girls are watching. Shen Rang laughed, don't talk nonsense, I didn't look at other little girls. Zhang Cha shrugged, I'll go and pack the things I took away for Zai. What to pack? Shen Rang's words let Zhang Cha stay in, I don't know what to pack. Bring a few toys he likes and a change of clothes, right? Okay. Shen Rang also followed Zhang Cha, you go and pack things, I'll change his clothes. You can. I should be. Yesterday, the Urjiang Cha car was thrown at the company and did not drive. Today, we are still riding in a sank car. Shen Ji was inexplicably excited when he learned that he was going to be taken to the company. Zhang Cha looked at his son, who was a lot more lively than yesterday, and relaxed a little. Rebirth is too unbelievable. She hasn't had time to figure out some things, so she doesn't want to think about it. In any case, she will accompany the child first, and she can do it later. Calculating carefully, this is the first time for a family of 3 to go out together. There is a sense of freshness. Not in a hurry today, plus the child is in the car. Shen Rang drove quite well. At 8:50, Shen Rang's car stopped in the parking lot. Zhang Cha came down first, and then hugged Shen Ji. Mom. The underground parking lot was dark and even a little disturbed, hugging Zhang Cha's legs. Zhang Cha bent over to hold the child. I'll do it. Shen Rang handed Zhang Cha the bag with Shen Ji's things in his hand, bending over to hug Shen Ji, it's not convenient for you to wear high heels. Shen Ji held Shen Rang's neck with both hands, and put his chin on Shen Rang's shoulders. His eyes were always looking at Zhang Cha, and he was happy. Zhang Cha confirmed that there was nothing missing, and the three of them went to the elevator. Jiuzheng does not have high-rise elevators. Everyone is an ordinary employee elevator. There are 6 elevators in total. In the past, if I entered the elevator, I could meet a few colleagues no matter what. Today, just as hell, the elevator that Zhang Cha and Shen Rang rode went all the way to the 23rd floor without meeting anyone. Ding! The elevator door opened on the 23rd floor, and Zhang Cha and Shen Rangqi secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Although I don't care, I still feel a little awkward if I suddenly make it public. Mr. Shen. Xin Yin happened to be passing the elevator entrance when she saw Shen Rang Gang saying hello, and after seeing Shen Ji in Shen Rang's arms, he closed his mouth. Xin Yin. Shen Rang patted Shen Ji in his arms. Zai, go to play with Uncle Xin for a while. Father and Mother have a little work, how about going to you later? Shen Ji nodded obediently. Okay. Xin Yin is Shen Rang's assistant. He has been to Shen's house and met Shen Ji a few times, so he is not unfamiliar. Assistant Xin. Zhang Cha handed the bag to Xin Yin. Zai's stuff is here. You can prepare some snacks for him and take him to the hospitality area. I remember there is a place specially prepared for children. Xin Yin nodded. I see, Vice President. Oh, right. Zhang Cha added, call the legal department downstairs to come up for a meeting. Xin Yin glanced at Shen Rang, and Shen Rang nodded. Okay, President Shen, Vice President Zhang, I will do it now. Xin Yin carried Shen Ji to the hospitality area first, and then notified the legal department downstairs for a meeting. The legal department looked dumbfounded. Why did the first one go to the legal department this early? Everyone went to the meeting room upstairs with a lot of questions. Xin Yin originally wanted to hand over the child to someone else and then go to the meeting room, but then he thought, no, since Mr. Shen handed over the young master to him, he had to be optimistic. There seems to be a lot of people passing by in the hospitality area today. At first it was 1 or 2 people, then 5 or 6, and then 7 or 8 people came to see it together. Xin Yin sighed helplessly. Shen Ji turned to look at him. Uncle Xin, are you unhappy? Xin Yin hurriedly laughed. It's nothing, young master, continue to play, and tell me what you want to eat or drink. I don't eat. Shen Ji smiled shyly and touched his stomach. I ate a lot in the morning. Xin Yin's inspiration suddenly appeared. Little master, who did you eat with in the morning? Talk to mom and dad. Xin Yin asked again, why did young master follow me today? There is no one in the family, so my mother took me with him. Nobody? Xin Yin almost asked, where is the babysitter, but shut up in time without saying anything. Assistant Xin? Why are you here? Bai Fei sent the materials back. Whose child is this? Xin Yin deliberated. Assistant Bai, go and arrange for someone to buy something that children like to eat, and don't buy junk food. Okay, I'll do it now. After Bai Fei took the note, her gaze fell on Shen Ji. That Uncle Xin. Hey! Xin Yin squatted down in front of Shen Ji. What's the matter? Shen Ji blushed, lying on Xin Yin's ear and said, I want to hush. Xin Yin laughed and hugged Shen Ji. This will take you over. Yes. Shen Ji greeted Bai Fei obediently in Xin Yin's arms. Hello, sister. Ah, hello, hello. Xin Yin didn't tell Bai Fei who the child was. He didn't know how President Shen and Vice President Zhang decided, so he couldn't talk nonsense. Bai Fei thought, she should find someone to buy snacks first. But, don't all kids like junk food? What are all healthy snacks? After Xin Yin took Shen Ji to pee for a while, the news of the small groups of Jiuzheng has been flying all over the sky. If you don't pay attention, it is 99 plus. Today on the 23rd floor came a 3 or 4-year-old boy. He was very beautiful and well behaved. The most important thing was that Assistant Xin who was next to Mr. Shen was leading him. What makes people feel unbelievable is that this little boy is 6 or 7 points similar to Mr. Shen. Everyone in Jiuzheng? Is it an illegitimate child? Soon after Shen Ji came back, snacks were also in place. Xin Yin picked a few things for Shen Ji. Little master, can you see these kinds of things okay? Shen Ji nodded without even seeing the package. Thank you Uncle Xin, I can do it all. Xin Yin felt a little weird, but couldn't say what was strange. Xin Yin opened a pack of small animal biscuits to Shen Ji, mixed flavors, and Shen Ji ate a few. There are still people who come and go to see Shen Ji secretly. Zai Zai. Shen Rang's voice came. Everyone turned their heads, talking and speaking, trying to pretend to be normal, but their eyes seemed to float here, and their ears were sharper than usual. I'm coming. It's time to solve the case. Shen Ji put the biscuits down and happily shouted Daddy. Everyone, I'm Dad? Shen Rang picked up Shen Ji, Xin Yin, take things away and send them to my office. Okay, President Shen. The author has something to say, everyone, Dad? Shen Rang, don't have as many children as you. There are red envelopes, the author column of Sugar Girl asks you to collect me and you will get sweet candy thanks to the little angel who threw the rocket launcher, one dealadoloidadadada. Thanks to the little angel who cast the grenade, one small dumpling made with osmanthus wine, thanks to the little angel who threw a landmine, one small dumpling made with sweet-scented osmanthus wine. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. 1 minute after Shen Rang left with Shen Ji, the office area around the hospitality area made various strange noises. For example, boom. For example, bang. For example, fuck. The annual news of Jiuzheng appeared. The prince of Jiuzheng group, Shen Rang, is the most precious diamond king of the group. He has a baby. Shen Rang is only 27 this year, and this child seems to be 4 or 5 years old. Isn't it that Shen Rang was picked off when he was 23? But whether it is young or old, I have never heard of Shen Rang getting married. No matter how hard I conceal this kind of thing, can there always be some clues? So everyone picked up their mobile phones and started the gossip road. This is so curious. Whether this child is an illegitimate child or a serious heir to the prince is subject to business rights. The employees of the company were suddenly excited, and naturally someone reported it upstairs. Shen Rang asked Xin Yin to go with them. Unless he could find someone at the core of the Shen family, it would be impossible to know that he and Vice Zhang were always husband and wife. Xin Yin secretly complained about Shen Rang's evil taste, and President Shen just wanted to watch the excitement. But think about it, isn't he himself one of the people watching the excitement? Zai Zai, what do you want to eat at noon? Shen Rang asked Shen Ji's opinion. Shen Ji thought for a while, what do mom and dad eat? Then let's ask mom. Good. The meeting between Shen Rang and Zhang Cha in the legal department lasted for more than an hour. The core content was just a little bit. Shen knew that he was abused by the nanny. The wicked are punished. The legal department also didn't expect that being called in such a hurry early in the morning turned out to be dealing with the young master's affairs. But they also felt a little pressure from the attitude of Shen Rang and Zhang Cha. The nature of the lawsuit is definitely no problem to win, but the Shen family must be satisfied. The group discussed intensely at the meeting and also studied various possible situations. But everyone here is not as gossip as the office area outside, so they have thought about why Vice President Zhang is so caring about this matter. Zhang Cha is sorting things in Shen Rang's office. Shen Rang marked out a corner of the office, specifically for Shen Ji to play. Shen Ji will be brought over for a while, so he can't let his assistant carry it all the time. Now probably everyone in the company knows that Shen Ji is Shen Rang's son, so it is the most appropriate way for Shen Ji to stay in the same office with Shen Rang. Zhang Cha is cleaning up this area. Zhang Cha checked the information on the internet to find out what the toy area for the children looked like. Zhang Cha listed all the missing items as a list, and prepared to hand it over to Xin Yin to purchase it later. Mom. Shen Ji opened the door by himself, probed in, smiling, very cute. Zai Zai. Zhang Cha beckoned, come to my mother. Shen Ji pushed the door in, and then Shen Rang closed the door. What are you holding? Zhang Cha glanced at the bag in Shen Rang's hand. Shen Rang put it on the coffee table. Didn't you ask Xin Yin to prepare snacks? Here, that's it. Zhang Cha checked it and found that there was only one small biscuit with mixed flavors unpacked, but looking at the amount inside, Shen knew that he hadn't eaten much. Do not like to eat. Shen Ji nodded hesitantly, N. Zhang Cha rubbed his head, it's okay, let dad eat if you don't like it, mom will buy if Zai Zai wants to eat it. Shen Rang? Why is it always me? After a while, Shen Ji asked Zhang Cha in a low voice, Mom, can I eat hamburger fries? Zhang Cha was taken aback. Shen Ji hurriedly said, it's okay if you don't eat. Zhang Cha squeezed his son's small face, of course it is possible. If you want to eat it, you have to say it, but we still try to eat this kind of fried food as little as possible, okay? Shen Ji was a little excited. Zhang Cha took out the tablet and found the ordering list. If you want to eat the one, just order the trolley and car logo, and choose it and show it to mom. Hey. I know mom. Hey, go sit there and choose. Good. Shen Ji sat down to choose what he wanted to eat, and Zhang Cha called Shen Rang to pack things together. Shen Ji didn't choose too much. Zhang Cha looked at it and added a few more, and then arranged Xin Yin to buy it. Shen Ji's little eyebrows wrinkled. Zhang Cha laughed, it's okay, there will be a father after eating. Shen Rang couldn't help but raised his brows, Zai Zai's mother, do you think that Zai Zai's father's stomach is bottomless? No. Zhang Cha said solemnly, I am out of trust in Zai Zai's father. Shen Rang laughed, okay. Xin Yin has always done things very fast. Wow! Shen Ji was surprised, but still a little reserved, Mom, can I start eating? Zai Zai, wash your hands first, and you can eat when you come back. Good. Shen Ji is 4 years old, and this is the first time he has eaten these things called junk food by his parents. With Zhang Cha's encouragement, the little guy moved almost everything. After eating and drinking enough, Shen Ji began to feel sleepy again, living like a pig. Zhang Cha coaxed him to play for a while, then asked him to take a nap in Shen Rang's lounge. After a simple sip, Zhang Cha raised his eyes and said to Shen, let's talk. Good. The two did not leave either, they were sitting face to face in Shen Rang's office, holding a cup of tea. Several minutes later, Shen Rang gave a clear cough, you speak first. Zhang Cha was silent for a moment, actually, I don't know what I should say. Although Zai Zai came into this world because of an accident, I was born into a pregnancy in October, and I have no regrets about giving birth to him. I had a dream yesterday afternoon. Zhang Cha pursed her lips, dreaming that she is dying. Zai Zai cried and told me not to leave, and said that she would be obedient and let me stay. Shen Rang frowned. Zhang Cha continued, in the past 4 years, you and I have neglected Zai Zai so much that Zai Zai suffered so many wrongs. Shen Rang nodded, as parents, we are indeed dereliction of duty. Zai Zai has a softer personality, and you have seen it. He doesn't even dare to say what he likes. Zhang Cha sighed, I really feel distressed when I see Zai Zai like this. Hey! Shen Rang followed with a sigh, and he also found out these 2 days. Shen Ji has almost no self. The babysitter is really a pervert. He yearns for the life of a rich man but is always slandering Shen Ji's life. Come little by little. Yab. Zhang Cha touched her nose. One more thing, in the future, I may reduce my work. Shen Rang could understand that he was guilty if he said that he should pay more attention to his children, but Zhang Cha said that he would reduce his work, which really scared Shen Rang. From the time Shen Rang met Zhang Cha, she was a person who likes to struggle very much. As long as she is facing work, she always seems to have inexhaustible energy and energy. In the past few years, Zhang Cha has never been absent from work because of a severe cold. However, it is this strong woman, his wife, who is like a workaholic, now telling him that he wants to reduce his work? Shen Rang looked at Zhang Cha and spoke for a while. I'm surprised that you made such a decision, won't you regret it? Of course not. Zhang Cha chuckled, I think it will be a very happy thing to be with Zai Zai. I hope it is not too late for me to understand this truth now. Shen Rang hadn't seen Zhang Cha's relaxed smile for a long time. As it was in the past, it seems that it has never changed. Zhang Cha looked at Shen Rang in a daze, stretched out her hand and shook in front of his eyes. What's the matter? Shen Rang returned to his senses and shook his head. It's okay, I'm thinking about how I should compensate Zai Zai. You? Yes. Shen let his arms folded, his brows raised slightly. What? You are only allowed to be a mother's compensation child, can't I care if I'm a father? Zhang Cha grinned, of course not, I am very happy if you are willing to accompany your children. After hearing this, Shen Rang added silently in his heart, in fact, he also wanted to accompany you more. Okay. Zhang Cha stood up, I'll go back to the office to handle the work. Xiao Ji wakes up and you tell me. Good. Zhang Cha waved with Shen Rang, then I'm leaving. Wait. Shen Rang called her, hesitated, I will arrange a physical examination for you. Why? Shen Rang explained, don't get me wrong, I remember you haven't had a good rest for a long time, and you haven't had a physical examination for a long time. Since you had a nightmare like that yesterday, why not treat this dream as a warning? Check it. We can also rest assured. Zhang Cha laughed, I didn't say no to. Shen Rang relieved, I let Xin Yin arrange it, it's this Saturday. Okay, you can arrange it. Zhang Cha opened the door, go, see you this afternoon. N. Shen Rang answered in a low voice, whispering softly, see you this afternoon. Zhang Cha walked forward, and Shen Rang immediately called Xin Yin in. Xin Yin was ready, after all, there were too many things that shocked him today. President Shen. N. Shen Rang looked at him, contact Jizhung Private Hospital to arrange a physical examination this Saturday. Xin Yin immediately became anxious, President Shen, what is your problem? It's not me, it's Zhang Cha. Vice President Zhang. Xin Yin was about to relax, wait. What's wrong with Vice President Zhang? Shen Rang was helpless, Assistant Xin, why are you always surprised today? Sorry, Mr. Shen. Shen Rang thought about what happened from yesterday to today, and said with a laugh, no one has anything to do. It's just a routine check. By the way, I can also make an appointment for Zai Zai. What about you? I don't need it. Shen Jian said, didn't I just have an inspection at the beginning of the year? Xin Yin suddenly said, oh yes, I'm sorry Mr. Shen, I forgot. This is not an example. Okay Mr. Shen, I will make arrangements for Vice President Zhang and Young Master. Shen Rang nodded, just send the message to me. Understood. Xin Yin bowed slightly, then I will go out first. Go ahead. Oh, Mom. Shen Ji's cry suddenly came from the lounge. Shen Rang hurried over, and Shen Ji closed his eyes, his little hand stretched out in midair to scratch. Shen Rang lay down beside Shen Ji, thought about how Zhang Cha looked when he coaxed the child, raised his hand to hold Shen Ji's hand, and then patted gently. Little's Higwai, Dad is here. After a few seconds, Shen Ji grunted twice, holding Shen Rang's arm, and stopped crying. The author has something to say. Shen Rang, the cubs are so good. Shen Ji held one of Shen Rang's fingers and slept soundly. As soon as Shen Rang wanted to take his finger out, Shen Ji subconsciously grabbed and groaned. Shen Rang thought for a while, then stopped moving, but put his son in his arms and accompanied him to take a nap. When Shen Ji woke up, he felt a little pain in his face. He opened his eyes, and it was a button. Obsessed with knowledge, raised his hand to grab. When Shen Ji moved, Shen Rang woke up. Zai Zai. Only then did Shen Ji discover that he was asleep in his arms by his father, and his face hurt just now because he had been wearing Shen Rang's shirt buttons. Shen Rang sat up with the baby in his arms. Are you going to sleep? Well, Zai Zai is sleeping well. Shen Zishui's little face blushed, his hair was a bit messy, and the bangs on his forehead were still curled up, which was very cute. Shen Rang raised his hand and smoothed his curled up hair a few times, and then stubbornly stood up again after pressing his hair. Shen Rang. That's it, it's better for children not to be so disciplined. What do you want to eat? Shen Ji shook his head, put his little finger on Shen Rang's clothes, and said embarrassedly, Dad, I soiled your clothes. Shen Rang lowered his head, there was an obvious wetness on his clothes. This is... Shen Rang didn't react for a while. Shen Ji scratched his head, it's Xiao Ji's saliva. Shen Rang. Dad, I was wrong. Shen Ji obediently apologized. Shen Rang smiled and picked him out of bed, and walked to the bathroom. Okay, Dad, forgive you. Thank you, Dad. Shen Rang washed his son's face for the first time, and he used a little bit of energy, and Shen knew that he didn't say anything, his small face would be deformed by him. Do you hurt you? No. Shen Rang picked up the towel. Today I will use my father's wipe, and tomorrow I will let Uncle Xin prepare toiletries for Zai Zai, Good. The father and son calmed down for a while before leaving the lounge. President Shen is taking a lunch break with the young master, please wait a while longer. Xin Yin's voice came from outside the door. Shen Rang shouted, let them in. Okay, Mr. Shen. Xin Yin pushed open the door, two of you, please come in. Mr. Shen, here we. The visitor had said anxiously, but when he saw Shen Ji, he silently swallowed his words back. Shen Rang sat on a chair with Shen Ji on his lap. What's the matter? Oh, we have made a few plans for the contents of the morning meeting and sent them to Mr. Shen for review. Stay first. Shen Rang said, I will contact you later. Okay, President Shen. Get out first if you have nothing to do. Okay. The two put down the folder and hurriedly left. After leaving Shen Rang's office, the two looked at each other and breathed out. Fortunately, they didn't say it directly. The two of them were winking. The young master is now sensible. If the issue of prosecuting the nanny is brought out in front of the young master, he is not allowed to have a bad influence on the child. I always feel that we should discuss a few more options. Yes, I think so too, go now. Good. Zhang Cha came in half an hour later, and delivered the documents by the way. Mom. Shen Ji was surprised to see her, and he got off Shen Rang directly, and ran towards Zhang Cha. Zhang Cha hugged her son, what did you do? Shen Ji tilted his head and thought for a while, look at Dad's work. Zhang Cha smiled and squeezed his face, can we Zai understand Dad's work? I don't understand. Shen Ji shook his head, and then described to Zhang Cha in a very admiring tone, gesticulating with gestures, Dad is amazing, I saw him, like this, crackling, slamming, and handling it. Zhang Cha was described as amused by his son, sit down first, Mom and Dad, a few words. Good. Zhang Cha handed the document to Shen Rang, this was given to me by the legal department just now. Take a look. I have it here. Did you see it yet? Shen Rang nodded, looked at it. Jiang Chen said, I haven't reached the level of satisfaction. Let them do it again. Jiang Cha smiled, Bai Fei went downstairs to see, they are still discussing. Let's not talk about it yet. Shen Rang glanced at his phone, I will give you an appointment for a physical examination. You and Zai will be together at Jiuzheng Hospital this Saturday. Jiuzheng. Shen Rang glanced at her, what's the matter? His face is so ugly. It's okay. Jiang Cha shook his head, why did Zai also make an appointment? By the way, we can check his physical condition. That's it, good. Suddenly, Jiang Cha and Shen Rang seemed to have nothing to say, and there was a little embarrassment in the office. Cough. Shen Rang clenched his hand into a fist against his lips to make a clear cough, that. Dad. Shen Jida ran to Shen Rang, pressing his thigh with one hand, standing on tiptoe, lying in Shen Rang's ear and whispered, Dad, Xiao Ji wants to hush. Shen let Puff laugh out loud, hugged Shen Ji, looked at Jiang Cha, go home early in the evening. Good. Before the embarrassment between the two people just started, they were broken up by the little elf ghost Shen Ji. Hee, Dad. Shen Ji secretly smiled, covering his mouth. Shen Rang was mentioning pants to Shen Ji, what's the matter? You just didn't know what to say to Mom. Shen Rang raised his brows, how do you know? I can see it. Shen Ji put his arms around Shen Rang's neck, Xiao Ji will be good, father and mother don't quarrel. Shen Rang rubbed his head, we didn't quarrel, and we won't quarrel. Thank you Dad. On Saturday, because both Jiang Cha and Shen Ji had to be checked, Shen Rang was afraid that eating would arouse public outrage, and accompanied him on an empty stomach. Shen Rang drove the two with him. Shen Ji fell on Jiang Cha and touched his stomach, Mom, Xiao Ji is hungry. Jiang Cha unconsciously pinched Shen Ji's face, Mom is hungry too. Dad, Xiao Ji is hungry. Shen Rang was expressionless, Dad is hungry too. Shen Ji sighed sadly, what a poor family. Shen Rang smiled, little Ji behaved, you can eat after finishing the inspection in a while, and my dad brought you the little cake you like. Does the mother have it? Have. Does Dad eat too? Can. Then Zai is relieved. Jiang Cha took his hand and said nothing. The longer I spend with Shen Ji, the more I feel that this child is really caring, and I am always afraid of troubles my parents, and try my best to do everything by himself, no matter how big or small it is. In the past few days, Jiang Cha and Shen Rang have intentionally or unintentionally changed his previous cognition, that he can be naughty at his age and can act like a baby. Fortunately, Shen Ji wanted to be with his parents from the bottom of his heart. After a few days, he occasionally acted like a baby. At the hospital, Xin Yin was already waiting there. Jiang Cha and Shen Ji went to draw blood first, and finished all the examinations that needed to be done on an empty stomach. Jiang Cha was already hungry, but after a while, he felt dizzy. Shen Rang asked her to sit and rest for a while. Xin Yin took Shen Ji for the last checkup, and Shen Rang went to the hospital cafeteria to buy hot food for Jiang Cha. Jiang Cha closed his eyes and leaned against the wall, his face pale and weak. Are you? Jiang Cha. Hearing his name, Jiang Cha opened his eyes, and stood in front of a woman who was pregnant but was wearing a tight dress. Jiang Cha nodded, hello. The woman smiled, don't you recognize me? I'm Wei Xianyang. Wei, Xianyang? After the name had passed through her mind twice, Jiang Cha remembered who she was. A female classmate who had planned how to marry a rich man from high school. Jiang Cha has a normal relationship with her, so he is not very enthusiastic, nodded, his tone is light, what a coincidence. Wei Xianyang was really excited. After sitting next to Jiang Cha and touching his stomach several times, he asked Jiang Cha, why are you here alone? Where's your husband? Jiang Cha looked at her suspiciously. Wei Xianyang was surprised, I remember you were pregnant when you were in college? Didn't that man marry you? Oh, that's really a scumbag. Zhang Cha rolled his eyes in his heart. Wei Xianyang touched his belly again. I have been pregnant for 6 months, and you have also seen it. I don't look good in a wedding dress with a big belly. So after discussing with my husband, I decided to wait for the birth of the baby before making up the wedding. Oh. Wei Xianyang asked Zhang Cha in a low voice, how many months have you been pregnant? Zhang Cha frowned, I'm not pregnant. You're not pregnant, why are you sitting in front of the obstetric department? Obstetrics? Zhang Cha raised his head and glanced at the sign, really? I didn't pay attention to my dizziness just now, I just found a place to sit down. Zhang Cha didn't want to contact Wei Xianyang anymore, so she got up and said, I'm going now. You can check it slowly. Oh, Yang, why are you here? It makes me easy to find. Wei Xianyang's voice added 8 tildes in an instant, husband, aren't you busy? Why did you come to see me? I told you it's okay, I can do the checkup myself. Zhang Cha was almost spit out by the sound. Wei Xianyang took the man's arm and said, husband, I will introduce my high school classmates to you. This is Zhang Cha. Zhang Cha? Why is this name a bit familiar? When the man was looking over, Zhang Cha also turned around. The man was taken aback, then smiled on his face, oh, isn't this Vice President Zhang? You also come to the hospital to see a doctor. Zhang Cha smiled playfully, isn't this Manager Chen? What a coincidence. Husband, do you know Zhang Cha? Zhang Cha's eyes fell on Wei Xianyang's arm carrying Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan reacted instantly and took off Wei Xianyang's hand. What are you doing, husband? Wei Xianyang stomped straight. Go. Do your check. Chen Yuan said impatiently. Wei Xianyang looked at Zhang Cha and suddenly blushed, you Manager Chen. Zhang Cha is funny, today is a rest day, Manager Chen will accompany his wife to do the labor and inspection. I won't bother, let's go. With that, Zhang Cha would leave. Don't. Vice President Zhang, Vice President Zhang. Chen Yuan stopped Zhang Cha, look at this, I understand, Manager Chen doesn't have to say much. Chen Yuan panicked even more when Zhang Cha said that. Last week, he took his wife and had an appointment with Zhang Cha. He originally wanted to make the cooperation even further, but he didn't expect it to be self-defeating now. Zhang Cha did not expect that Wei Xianyang, who was so picky about boys at the beginning, would be willing to be a junior. The matter of cooperation. Manager Chen, don't talk about official business on rest days. Then when is it appropriate for me to go to Jiuzheng? Zhang Cha's smile deepened, if there is news, my assistant will contact you. When Chen Yuan heard this, he knew that this cooperation was about to blow up. Wei Xianyang is to blame. If she has to come to the Jiuzheng private hospital for a checkup, a woman who will be delayed if she fails to succeed, if it weren't for her to be pregnant, he would definitely make her look good. Zhang Cha could also guess what Chen Yuan was thinking. But that was someone else's business, Zhang Cha didn't bother about it. Zhang Cha. Shen Rang took the food in one hand and the report in the other. Hot soy milk with double sugar added. Zhang Cha took it over, thank you. Chen Yuan was taken aback when he saw this. What's the situation? President Shen accompanied Vice President Zhang, coming to the obstetrics department? Yeah, Zhang Cha, is this your new man? It looks much better than the one when you were in college. Wei Xianyang's yin and yang's weird words made Zhang Cha and Shen Rang look sideways at the same time. Wei Xianyang hugged his arms and raised his chin, what am I doing? You are unmarried and pregnant, so you are not allowed to talk about it. You shut up. Chen Yuan pulled Wei Xianyang, I'm sorry President Shen, Vice President Zhang, she has a brain disease, don't take it to your heart. The author has something to say, Zhang Cha, well, don't take it to heart. Zhang Chaangzhen drank sweet soy milk without talking. Shen Rang even handed the report to Zhang Cha, Ms. Chen. Yes, yes. Chen Yuan nodded and bowed, Shen is good. Shen Rang chuckled lightly, and then chatted with Chen Yuan. It sounded like a casual question, but Chen Yuan didn't dare to fool Shen Rang. After all, if the big order of Jiuzheng was taken down, there would be no problem in the next 2 or 3 years. After chatting for a few minutes, just when Chen Yuan just let go of his vigilance, Shen Rang suddenly changed his conversation. Mr. Chen is so busy and remembers to accompany his wife during the prenatal checkup. This is a model. The smile on Chen Yuangong's face instantly froze. Shen. Shen Rang laughed softly, Zhang Cha, let's go. Zhang Cha had already drunk a whole cup of soy milk, and after a while, his dizziness felt better. Shen Rang took the empty glass she drank and threw it in the bag, then carried everything in his hand, and then nodded to Chen Yuan and Wei Xianyang, Chen, let's go first. After speaking, without waiting for Chen Yuan to react, the two of them talked and walked. Husband, what is the relationship between that person and Jiang Cha, do you know? Wei Xianyang was a little nervous. She was not qualified to know about the company, but she knew that Chen Yuan had been busy cooperating with a large company these months. I just saw Chen Yuan shouting President Shen to the man, and he also called Zhang Cha Vice President Zhang. Wei Xianyang was able to guess a general idea, but he didn't know if he was right. Chen Yuan was reminded by Wei Xianyang and asked her to wait here, and hurriedly chased after him. Husband! Wei Xianyang yelled, gritted her teeth angrily. She couldn't run, so she could only catch up slowly. As soon as Shen Rang and Zhang Cha walked to the door, Chen Yuan's shout came from behind. President Shen, Vice President Zhang, please stay. Shen Rang turned his head, what's wrong with Mr. Chen? Chen Yuan ran a little faster, and he was still panting. I wonder if it is convenient for President Shen and Vice President Zhang? I would like to invite two of you to have a casual meal. Since Vice President Zhang is here for the inspection, I must not have used any food in the morning. Zhang Cha wanted to refuse. Shen Rang agreed. Zhang Cha looked at him with puzzled eyes, his son is still undergoing an examination. Shen Rang gave her a soothing look, and Zhang Cha nodded. Chen Yuan looked at the two in secret, and naturally did not miss the eye contact. He was surprised that the two of them had a good relationship in private, and at the same time, he felt a little weird. But now that Mr. Shen has agreed to eat, he still has a chance to come back. Shen Rang printed the message to Xin, and then went to the restaurant next to Chen Yuan with Zhang Cha and asked for a private room. Chen Yuan ordered more expensive dishes, hoping that the two people on the opposite side could feel his sincerity. At the end, Chen Yuan asked Shen Rang, does Shen have a favorite? Shen Rang flipped through them and ordered 2 light dishes and a bowl of porridge that nourishes qi and blood. No need to think about it, this is definitely for Zhang Cha. Chen Yuan cocked in his heart, then patted his head, it's my fault. I forgot to consider the physical condition of Vice President Zhang, sorry. Zhang Cha shook his head, it's okay. Chen Yuan found a topic and chatted with 2 people, but Shen Rang and Zhang Cha were not very enthusiastic. He talked loudly and was a bit embarrassed. There was a knock on the door, and the waiter came in, hello sir, there is a Ms. Wei outside saying that she is with some of them. Ms. Wei? Chen Yuan's face sank. Shen Rang said, doesn't Mr. Chen invite his wife in? Chen Yuan nodded and reluctantly said, let her come in. Okay, sir. After a while, Wei Xianyang came in and sat beside Chen Yuan to have a coquettish meal. What's the matter with you, husband? I didn't wait for me just now. I haven't eaten since morning. Chen Yuan was embarrassed. At exactly this time, the restaurant was serving food. Shen Rang suggested, since Madam Chen is hungry, let's eat first. Then I'm welcome. Wei Xianyang was indeed hungry, but remembering Chen Yuan, he also served him some vegetables. Have you eaten, my husband? Look at you recently, you are all too busy to lose weight. Jiang Cha tried to resist it and didn't laugh. Shen Rang took the porridge that nourishes the blood and urged Jiang Cha softly, drink them all. Jiang Cha wrinkled her nose unconsciously, and subconsciously resisted. If you don't drink it up, I'll tell Zai Zai. Tell Zai Zai his mother is picky eaters? No, it cannot. Jiang Cha glared at Shen Rang, and confessed his fate to pick up the spoon and ate it. Shen Rang smiled and pushed the 2 dishes specially ordered for her over. Eat more. N. Jiang Cha was a little uncomfortable. You should eat it, you are hungry in the morning until now. Shen let his smile widen. Okay. Shen Rang and Jiang Cha have been living together recently. Both of them have the heart to take good care of their children. Naturally, they will have a lot more exchanges than before. It's really better to mention a meal or care about these trivial matters. A lot has been improved before. Even though it was still a bit awkward, it was considered harmonious. Outsiders are always unknown. Therefore, no matter how much speculation there is inside Jiuzheng, no one will pass it on. Therefore, knowing the working relationship between the two is amazed at this scene. Chen Yuan did not ignore the little knowledge mentioned by Shen Rang just now. Who is Zai Zai? Why did Vice President Zhang change his attitude when he mentioned Zai Zai? It must be someone who is very important to Vice President Zhang, right? But Wei Xianyang suddenly remembered Jiang Cha's unmarried child. Wei Xianyang wanted to ask, but after thinking about it, he swallowed. The 4 of us dined together peacefully. Jiang Cha still had a small bowl of porridge left, and I really couldn't drink it. After all, I drank double sugar soy milk before. When Shen Rang saw this, he said, it doesn't matter if you can't eat, but I want you to eat more. Okay. Jiang Cha breathed a sigh of relief and took a sip of water from the cup. Chen Yuan said at this time, President Shen, Vice President Zhang, see you next time. Jiang Cha frowned. Before Shen Rang spoke, the phone rang. After Shen Rang picked up the phone and read it, he stood up and said, Mr. Chen, I suddenly have something to deal with. I will let Xin Yin contact you for the next time I meet. Shen Rang's words, let Chen Yuan relax, and it will do next time. Jiang Cha, let's go. Jiang Chen said, and thought about the 2 days of work. I don't know if there is any urgent matter to deal with on this Saturday. Chen Yuan gave the card to Wei Xianyang and asked her to check out, while he himself sent Shen Rang and Jiang Cha out. The 3 of them stood at the door of the restaurant and exchanged a few more words. In order not to block the way of others, the 3 leaned to one side. Shen Rang was very patient today, and Chen Yuangsu babbled that he was also agreeing. It's like, dragging time. Jiang Cha didn't know what he was going to do, and stood beside him without saying a word. The phone in the clothes vibrated twice again, and Shen Ran opened the mouth and said, Mr. Chen stays, we are leaving now, we don't have to send it again. Chen Yuan had no choice but to agree. Wei Xianyang came over, handed the card to Chen Yuan, then took his arm and smiled to Jiang's tea ceremony, will you be free to go shopping together? Jiang Cha just glanced at Wei Xianyang, and saw that something he didn't know was swiping in front of him, and then it hit Wei Xianyang's head very accurately. With a pop, the thing broke, and Wei Xianyang's head was full of water. Ah! Wei Xianyang screamed. Jiang Cha was shocked. Chen Yuan hurriedly called for a towel. Chen Yuan! A stern shout came, and Chen Yuan suddenly turned his head stiffly. Old wife, I. The real wife of Chen Yuan, Cai Yukiao, carried her bag and stepped on high heels, and rushed over. Shen Rang held Jiang Cha's arm with one hand, and held her back with one hand to protect her, leading her back several steps, letting Cai Yukiao pass. Jiang Cha looked over subconsciously. I only heard the rapid sound of Cai Yukiao's high heels arriving in front of Chen Yuan, and then Cai Yukiao raised his hand, and the limited edition bag he was carrying hit Chen Yuan's head. "You old king/8/Dan. I finally let my old lady catch you and show you. If I don't kill you today, my old lady won't have my surname Cai. Wife. Wife, I was wrong. Cai Yukiao was determined to teach Chen Yuan a lesson. He didn't hesitate to start. When the people around heard that the original match came to catch the mistress, he just watched the excitement and no one stopped it. After all, it was a family affair. Wei Xianyang, who had just wiped off the water on his head, saw Chen Yuan being beaten, and he didn't care that he had a child in his stomach, so he went to pull it. Cai Yukiao caught and beat him. The reason why she didn't directly touch Wei Xianyang when she came in was because she was a pregnant woman. The water on her head didn't stop. She hadn't done it yet, but Wei Xianyang got in first. Cai Yukiao's hands were considered measured, and without hurting Wei Xianyang's stomach, he grabbed his hair and slapped twice. That movement, Zhang Cha listened to pain for her. After watching the excitement for a while, everyone thought that Wei Xianyang had a fetal gas and called the ambulance to end the farce. Shen Rang shouted, "Zhang Cha, let's go." Zhang Cha tilted his head to look at him. "Why are you not surprised?" Shen Rang bent his lips, took out the phone and handed it to Zhang Cha. "Open it and take a look." Zhang Cha didn't mean to explore other people's privacy, but if Shen Rang showed her. Zhang Cha flicked the screen. "I haven't unlocked it yet." Zhang Cha handed the phone to God. "Fingerprints." Shen Rang shook his head lightly. 0929. Zhang Cha was taken aback. Directly input 0929, the phone turned on. "Why, it's her birthday." Before Zhang Cha could ask him anything, the unlocked interface had broken into her eyes. It was a WeChat message issued by Hexen. "Shen Rang, my wife and I have something to do. You take Zai back first and explain to him. Shen Rang, contact the wife of Chen Yuan, the general manager of the CAI group. Her husband is near the Jiuzheng private hospital. If you get in touch, tell me immediately." Xin Yin, "All right, Mr. Shen." Xin Yin, "Mr. Shen, Mrs. Chen has been contacted." Shen Rang. Xin Yin, "Mr. Shen, Mrs. Chen is here." Xin Yin, "Mr. Shen, Mrs. Chen has gone in." With a few words, Zhang Cha understood. "Are you deliberately looking for Madame Chen to catch Wei Xianyang?" Zhang Cha wondered, "Why? Isn't he a nosy temper?" Shen Rang took back the phone and said lightly, "She said you were unmarried and pregnant." Zhang Cha? "The author has something to say, Mr. Shen. It's okay to say bad things about my wife." Zhang Cha was stunned, thinking that he had heard it wrong. "What did you say?" Shen Rang tilted his head, his eyes serious. "She said you got pregnant first when you were unmarried." Wei Xianyang. Yab. The two of them turned left when they left the restaurant, choosing a path completely, just to get out of here first. Zhang Cha still didn't figure it out. What she said is the truth. Shen Rang was helpless and stopped. "Zhang Cha, in addition to being Vice President Zhang of Jiuzheng, you are still my wife of Shen Rang." "Well, what then?" Shen Rang was angrily laughed by her. "No more, I have to face myself, not to see you being bullied. Can this reason be acceptable?" Zhang Cha thought about it seriously, and nodded, "Yes." This time Shen Rang really laughed out loud. Zhang Cha does not know why. Shen Rang smiled for a while, raised his eyes and saw that the two were standing in front of a coffee shop, and pointed, "Go in for a cup of coffee, and Xin Yin is going to get Zai's inspection result." Good. The two entered the coffee shop one after the other. When Zhang Cha rarely comes, she likes work after all and doesn't want to waste time here. Zhang Cha found a position by the window, and Shen Rang asked Zhang Cha what to drink, and he had to say whatever. Shen Rang is really helpless. Whether it's a restaurant or a coffee shop, these two words seem to be better but the most difficult. Considering the taste of Jiang Cha, Shen Rang ordered her a caramel macchiato, which was American. Sitting across from Jiang Cha, Shen Rang followed her gaze and looked out. This is the first time we have been so leisurely. Yes. Jiang Cha smiled and shook his head. I have been busy with work, but I forgot to enjoy life. Work is endless. Under appropriate circumstances, we can also relax. Shen Rang was surprised. Do you really think so? Of course. Jiang Cha looked at him and smiled. Didn't I work hard to reduce work in a company's ISI recently? This is what she said. Shen Rang was so disappointed that he didn't even notice it. According to the news sent by Shen Rang, Xin Yin quickly found the position of the two, but he kept watching in the car. Shen Rang and Jiang Cha have been married for almost 5 years, and their children are 4 years old. They have never sat together in such a harmonious way, talking and laughing. Xin Yin thought, wait a minute, he didn't really want to destroy this feeling. So this wait, half an hour passed. Shen Rang called Xin Yin, and Xin Yin told his location. Back home, Shen Ji was already asleep. Jiang Cha sat beside him and watched for a while, got up and went to the kitchen to prepare for what to do at night. The rest days are fleeting, so fast that people have not turned back. When going to work on Monday, someone inside Jiuzheng anonymously exposed gossip about Mr. Shen and Vice President Zhang. On Saturday, the person who broke the news saw Mr. Shen and Vice President Zhang who were dating in a coffee shop, as evidenced by photos. There are several photos, standing in front of the coffee shop chatting, walking into the coffee shop, Jiang Cha sitting in a position to look outside. Shen Rang did not forget to look back at Jiang Cha when he was in line. Besides, Shen Rang and Jiang Cha were joking together. Just a few photos, I was surprised to let Jiuzheng write 18 scripts up and down. For example, the wealthy entanglement, 2 people who love each other have to pretend to be tit for tat in the company, so that they can only be tender in private for a while. For example, Shen Rang had a crush on Jiang Cha but couldn't say it. He looked at Jiang Cha with affection. For example, Jiang Cha is willing to be a stepmother in order to climb into the rich. At the end of Xin Yin's report, the expression on his face was beyond words. President Shen, do you want to deal with it? No need. Shen Rang laughed. I didn't expect that they would be worried about each other in their daily plans. This day, they are just the best to talk about gossip. President Shen. Shen Rang raised his head and looked at Xin Yin. Whatever they want, there is no need to deliberately suppress them, but for these news, internal discussions are forgotten, and the outside is paying attention. Okay, President Shen, I understand. Well, let the people from the legal department come up. Okay. When Shen Rang dealt with the matter, Shen Ji played by the side wisely. After a while, Shen Ji called out Dad. Shen Rang put down his pen. What's wrong, Zai? Are you bored? Shen Ji blushed. Can I go to my mother? I miss my mother a bit. Shen Rang bends his lips, and then stands up. Okay, Dad will send you over. Thank you Dad. Shen Rang led Shen Ji out of the office, and just hit Jiang Cha head on. What's wrong? Zai is looking for you. Look for me. Jiang Cha handed the file to Shen Rang, touched Shen Ji's head, and said softly, do you miss me? Shen Ji nodded, I thought about it. Let's go to my office. Jiang Cha directly led Shen Ji away, and turned around after just 2 steps. You can sign the document and let Xin Yin send it over. Shen Rang nodded, okay. There was a few short conversations in front of the office, and no one was behind his back, so the company soon started a new round of gossip. You may not believe it, the young master of the Shen family has a good relationship with Vice President Zhang. Vice President Zhang is too good. The young master has a good relationship with her. It will be sooner or later to marry into the Shen family. Oh my god, Vice President Zhang is so good, oh, I want to slip my little master too. Ha 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 ha, you can pull it down, even if you slip your beard, the young master won't be nice to you. What's the situation upstairs? Oh, what? I tried it last time. I bought food and drinks for the young master, but the young master didn't want anything. He also said that Mr. Shen said that you can't just ask for something from a stranger. I go. Is the young master 4 years old? This tutor is amazing. But looking at it this way, Vice President Zhang is able to smash a path in such a difficult situation, and the means are not unreasonable. Yes, President Shen hasn't quarreled with Vice President Zhang recently, and the relationship between the two is much better than before. So, the two are dating for coffee on Saturday. Are they in love? 80%, after all, the young masters. Next are rows of ellipsis. Shen Rang found it more funny when he took the time to watch it. These people guessed and guessed, but none of them guessed that he and Zhang Cha were married. It's obviously easy. However, Shen Rang changed his mind. The state of him and Zhang Cha in the past few years is, it's hard to say a word. It seems that it is not so easy to guess that it is a husband and wife. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Shen Ji hadn't woke up from a nap, and Zhang Cha received a call from his friend Zhang Yurui as soon as he finished processing work. Zhang Cha left a gap in the door of the lounge, and answered the phone, making his voice softer. Are you willing to come back? What are you doing? Why don't you dare to speak? Zhang Yurui was scanning the goods, and the shopping mall's promotional activities came from the background. Zhang Cha was helpless. Why did you go shopping again, Manager Zhang? Zhang Yurui said, hi, I'm visiting my shopping mall, why is it still not working? Is this my way to inspect the work? Yes, you are reasonable. Zhang Cha has always admired Zhang Yurui. From the day she met her, she knew that Zhang Yurui's greatest joy in life is shopping, buying and buying. With age, his desire to buy becomes more and more powerful. Don't interrupt, I almost forgot what to do with you. Zhang Yurui entered the milk tea shop, put down the trophy in his hand, and ordered something casually. Do you know who called me? Who? Zhang Yurui. Your tone is so plain that I have no sense of accomplishment at all. Zhang Cha didn't hear an answer for a long time. I'll hang up if the signal is bad. Zhang Yurui hurriedly said, why are you like this? I still have a job, so I'll just talk about it. Zhang Cha said mercilessly, I'll hang up when I'm fine. Zhang Yurui hurriedly said, there is something, I have something to do. Zhang Cha patiently said, I'll give you 2 more minutes. Damn! Zhang Yurui was going to die of anger, but she also knew that Zhang Cha was a Onofei kind person, and quickly said, I received a call from the high school squad leader Yang Hua. He organized a classmate meeting next month and asked if you would go. Go. Classmates reunion. Zhang Cha was speechless. Yet. Zhang Yurui said, I also find it strange, so I asked someone to ask, guess what? Zhang Cha frowned, can you finish it all at once? No emotion/interest. Zhang Yurui finished quickly, do you know the CAI group? Yang Hua works at CAI's, the project manager. I heard that Jiuzheng has a list with you recently. Yang Hua wants to save it, so he can ask more about it. He knew from Wei Xianyang that you were the vice president of Jiuzheng, and he wanted to get close to you before he decided to hold a reunion. Zhang Cha sneered, Wei Xianyang really thinks for President Chen. Zhang Yurui suddenly smelled gossip, have you met Wei Xianyang? Zhang Cha didn't hide it either. He told about the encounter with Wei Xianyang in the hospital and restaurant on Saturday, nor did he forget that Wei Xianyang was beaten by Cai Yukiao in the restaurant. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Yurui laughed and tears came out, why am I not present at the time, such a funny thing, ha 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 ha. Zhang Cha curved lips. Wait. Zhang Yurui recovered, why did you go to the hospital with Shen Rang? Check. Check. Zhang Yurui exclaimed and stood up excitedly, are you pregnant again? Zhang Cha said with a black line, you are just pregnant. Hey, I was scared to death. Zhang Yurui sat down again, hey, can I invite you to dinner at night? Don't go. Zhang Cha heard Shen Ji in the lounge groaning, and said, I'm not free at night. I want to coax my son. Go by yourself. After speaking, Zhang Cha hung up the phone and stopped chatting with Zhang Yurui. Zhang Cha opened the door of the lounge, and Shen Ji lay on the bed with his hands, with his small head resting on his hands, his mouth was flat and his eyes were dripping with tears. Zhang Cha felt distressed for a moment, what's the matter? You, mother. Zhang Cha sat on the edge of the bed, Shen Ji arched his body into Zhang Cha's arms, and put his arms around Zhang Cha's neck, Mom, Xiao Ji is obedient, Xiao Ji will be obedient. Zhang Cha touched his son's head, what's wrong? Have you had a nightmare? Shen Ji nodded, hugged Zhang Cha tightly, and refused to let go of anything, and refused to say what dreams he had. Zhang Cha frustrated, and sent a message to Shen Rang. Shen Rang came over quickly and coaxed Shen Ji to hug him. Shen Ji shook his head, but still refused. Shen Rang and Zhang Cha looked at each other, Zhang Cha shook his head. Shen Rang was helpless, do you still have any job? It's nothing big, there is a small meeting. Then go home and let assistant Bai inform that the meeting is postponed. Good. Zhang Cha hugged Shen Ji, and Shen Ran packed Zhang Cha, and finally took a thin blanket. Shen Rang put a thin blanket on Shen Ji, carrying a bag in one hand and protecting the two of them as they walked out. The couple looked poor and hurried all the way. When passing by the office area, many people looked sideways. Seeing this situation, they whispered about what happened. Here the Jiang Cha couple drove home, but Zhang Yurui dropped his chin in shock and stared at the phone in disbelief. Hey? Coax my son at home. Zhang Yurui thought for a few seconds, and hurriedly left the shopping mall with his things, ready to find Jiang Cha. The author has something to say, Zhang Yurui, let you choose again, who is important to my son and me. Zhang Cha, son. Zhang Yurui contacted Zhang Cha on WeChat and asked her where she lives now. Zhang Cha, Blue Bay. Zhang Yurui blocked his chest in one breath, unable to get up. After a while, Zhang Yurui cursed, damn. I'm living in Blue Bay, Zhang Cha, you wait for me. On the way home from Jiuzheng, Shen Ji was already a lot better, the small expression on his face was a bit tangled. Because he had a nightmare, he asked his parents to leave work early. Shen Ji whispered Mom. Zhang Cha pulled the thin blanket down a bit, what's the matter? Mom, did Zai cause trouble for you and Dad? Zhang Cha froze for a moment, then rubbed Shen Ji's little head, how come? Zai is the little baby in the family, and it's too late for my mother to like you, why would you think you are troublesome? But Zai is so stupid. Shen Ji sighed, his little hand propped his chin in an old-fashioned look, Mom and Dad left work early because of Zai several times, and the other uncles and aunts did not leave. Shen Rang laughed, but the company belongs to our family. What does that mean? Shen Ji tilted his head and looked at his father. You drive well, let me say. Zhang Cha squeezed Shen Ji's face, the company belongs to the grandfather, and the father is also the boss. The boss can leave at any time, and the other uncles and aunts are the bosses who hire them to work. Do you understand what Mom said that Zai? Shen Ji thought for a while, is that Mom also hired by money? Zhang Cha choked, no. Hey! Shen Ji was surprised, Dad won't give Mom money. Shen Rang laughed loudly, Zai, my mother was married by my father and is also the boss. Zhang Cha tilted his head to look at Shen Rang. Shen Rang looked ahead, not Zhang Cha. Zhang Cha sighed. Okay, Zai can think about what to eat at night. Dad will take you to the supermarket to buy things, okay? Okay. Shen Ji's eyes lit up, and he started counting with his fingers. Xiao Ji wants to eat French fries, jelly, snow cake. Shen Rang shifted Shen Ji's attention, and what he said would come true naturally, and he would have to go to the supermarket if he said that to go to the supermarket. Zhang Cha didn't know what other children felt about going to the supermarket. Anyway, his own Shen Ji would always be inexplicably excited when he heard about going to the supermarket. Sitting in the wheelbarrow, Shen Ji looked left and right, seemingly dazzled. Shen rang the cart. Zhang Cha fell a step behind, and said in a low voice, "Don't be too used to Zai Zai. There are some things that you can't buy for him, you know." Shen Rang'en said. Although the two have the intention to make up for the child, they can't spoil them in the end. And Shen Ji was more measured. Although he was counting on what he wanted with his fingers in the car, when it was really time for him to buy, he only chose a few of his favorites. An hour passed after a trip to the supermarket. Back to Blue Bay, it was past 4 o'clock. Zhang Cha led Shen Ji, and Shen Rang carried 2 bags, which were just bought in the supermarket. A family of 3 entered the elevator together, and Shen Ji was talking to his parents happily. At first glance, it seems that no matter it is, everyone will praise this really happy family of 3, but in the eyes of insiders, it looks weird. For example, Zhang Yurui climbed up the stairs because he didn't have an access card. Shen Ji was the first to find someone squatting at his door. Ah! Shen Ji pointed at Zhang Yurui, trying to call someone, but for a moment he forgot her name. Zhang Cha and Shen Rang looked over together. Zhang Cha frowned, "Why are you here?" Zhang Yurui is about to explode, "Sister. I sent you a message." When she reminded, Zhang Cha remembered and nodded to praise her, "Then you came very quickly." Zhang Yurui. Shen Rang has opened the door. "Xiao Ji, this is Aunt Rui Rui." Shen Ji got a reminder and said, "Hello, Aunt Rui Rui, I am Xiao Ji." Zhang Yurui originally had many questions about the relationship between Zhang Cha and Shen Rang, but seeing that the child was so behaved, Zhang Yurui swallowed everything back. Zhang Yurui bent over and touched Shen Ji's little head. "Xiao Ji is so good." Shen Ji blushed, holding Shen Rang's thigh without letting go. Shen Rang smiled, "Come in and chat." "Good." Shen Rang hugged Shen Ji into the house. Zhang Cha followed, carrying things in. Zhang Yurui hesitated for a few seconds before entering. When she entered, she was shocked instantly. "The last time I came here seemed to be a year ago." She followed Zhang Cha to fetch the documents. Although she couldn't remember what it was like at that time, she was sure that it was definitely not what she was in front of her. It used to be called a house, but now it can be called a home. There is a specially designated toy area in the living room. The floor is covered with fleece blankets. It won't be cold even if you go up barefoot. It's great for children to sit on the floor and play. There was also obvious smoke in the kitchen, and Shen Rang was packing up the things he had just bought. Zhang Yurui's eyes widened. Does Mr. Shen actually know how to cook? Zhang Cha poured 2 cups of tea and called Zhang Yurui to sit down. Zhang Yurui felt weird and looked at Zhang Cha a few times. Zhang Cha laughed, "What the are you doing? Don't you recognize me?" Zhang Yurui whispered, "How long have I not seen you? Why have you changed so much? And that person?" Zhang Yurui turned to Shen Ran Nunu in the kitchen, "President Shen." "Yes." Zhang Cha is very casual, "It's Shen Rang." "No." Zhang Yurui leaned toward Omi T, "I'm not mistaken, am I? Mr. Shen is actually cooking. What's wrong with cooking? I will do it too." Zhang Cha smiled, "If you didn't come here today, I should be busy with him at this time." Zhang Yurui was stupid, "What's the situation?" Zhang Cha took a sip of tea, and the old was there, "That's the situation." After a while, Zhang Yurui asked Zhang Cha, "Don't you like Shen Rang?" Jiang Cha frowned subconsciously. What? Actually, it's no wonder that Zhang Yuyui thought this way, it was too unexpected for her today. Whether it is Shen Rang or Jiang Cha, the changes in her memory are too great. Jiang Cha's family background is not very good. Her parents prefer boys to girls. She didn't care much about her living expenses in the second year of high school. Fortunately, Jiang Cha can study well and can get scholarships and work during winter and summer vacations, as long as she earns living expenses. In college, Jiang Cha's life was more fulfilling, studying, working, and making money. Zhang Yuyui changed 3 or 4 boyfriends a semester, and Jiang Cha was still alone. Zhang Yuyui asked Jiang Cha more than once, what kind of boy she likes, she can introduce her to her. But Jiang Cha said that if he didn't want to waste time, it would be better to make money if he had that time. Zhang Yuyui said that she was losing money. Jiang Cha is long and beautiful, and she avoids boys, which will naturally attract some people's attention. There is a group of scumbags in the school who relied on their family's money and power to trample on others' self-esteem. The most common thing they do is to bet. Today, I will bet for a few days to change my girlfriend, and tomorrow I will bet that I can sleep in a few days which girl. A rich second generation in the scum pile hated Jiang Cha. It was expressly implied that he barely chased Jiang Cha 4 or 5 times, but every time, Jiang Cha simply refused, which made him lose face. The rich second generation couldn't swallow this breath, always thinking of teaching Jiang Cha. When he was about to graduate, he decided to do it. It didn't matter if he finished sleeping anyway. At that time, Jiang Cha was doing an internship in a medium-sized company. The rich second generation met Jiang Cha's immediate boss and told him that he wanted to chase Jiang Cha, so that the manager could do it conveniently. If nothing else was done, he would leave Jiang Cha and add another. Class will do. The manager didn't think much, thinking about the young man's pursuit of romance, and wanted a surprise, he agreed. That day, Jiang Cha's work was surprisingly many and cumbersome. Although she was muttering in her heart, she didn't think much about it. Jiang Cha didn't get off work until 11 o'clock in the evening, because he kept lowering his head to write and type on the keyboard, and his shoulders and neck hurt everywhere. In the entire company, only Jiang Cha himself did not get off work. Jiang Cha got up, went to the bathroom, stretched her waist as she walked, and eased the exhaustion of the night. When Jiang Cha went to the bathroom, someone sneaked in, went straight to the Jiang Cha station, found a water cup and poured the medicine in the small bottle. The medicine melts when it enters the water, without a trace. The person who administered the medicine walked for a few minutes, and Jiang Cha came out of the bathroom, packed up his things, drank the water in the cup, and turned off the light to get off work. At this time, there were few people on the road. Jiang Cha was used to being alone. The house she rented was only 6 or 7 minutes away from the company. She also brought anti-wolf equipment with her, which was nothing to fear. Halfway through, Jiang Cha stopped. Someone followed her behind. Jiang Cha fumbled into the backpack, opened the lid of the anti-wolf spray and grabbed it in his hand. Jiang Cha continued to walk, his steps were not very fast, his ears were listening to the movement behind. Although the people behind her deliberately softened their footsteps, they could still be heard clearly in this silent night. Step by step, get closer. Jiang Cha counted 3 and 2 in his heart, then turned around fiercely, spraying the other's face with anti-wolf spray. Ah! The scream broke the quiet night. Jiang Cha ran without even looking at it. Grab her! The man yelled viciously, covering his eyes. As this person's voice fell, and the messy footsteps sounded, 7 or 8 people surrounded Jiang Cha from several directions. Relying on the familiarity of the surrounding environment, Jiang Cha avoided 2 or 3 people, but she was a girl after all, and the medicine she drank while running broke out again. Jiang Cha quickly lost strength and was caught. Jiang Cha was framed by 2 people in front of the person covering his eyes. By the street lamp, she recognized that it was the rich second generation chasing her. Zhang Cha's breath is a bit rough, frowning. The rich second generation squeezed Zhang Cha's face. Okay, I run very fast. Zhang Cha ignored him. It's quite stubborn. The second generation of the rich commanded two people to take Zhang Cha into the car, and the others dispersed. The rich second generation brought Zhang Cha to his hotel. He had a room in the hotel and directly took Zhang Cha, which was already somewhat delirious, upstairs. In order not to attract the attention of other people, the rich second generation let the other two go away. He brought Zhang Cha himself, so that even if someone was curious, they would only think that this is a small couple. His room is on the 16th floor, a luxurious suite. After the rich second generation threw Zhang Cha on the bed, he went to the bathroom to take a shower. Zhang Cha heard the sound of water in a daze, recovered some sanity, remembered what had happened before, and started struggling. Zhang Cha squeezed the meat on his inner thighs to make himself sober. 5 minutes later, Zhang Cha left the suite. Zhang Cha could only judge that this was a hotel, but didn't know where it was. She was confused all the way, stumbled into the stairwell, followed the stairs, and climbed to the penthouse suite with the last willpower. When he fell from the side of the stairwell door, Zhang Cha's eyes were red. Since she was sensible, since she was able to make money to support herself, this was her weakest time. Tears gradually blurred her eyes, and her body became hotter and hotter. She didn't know how she could save herself. What's wrong with you? Need help? King Grun male voice rang from her ears. Zhang Cha raised her head, and she saw a hand with well-knotted joints in front of her. Looking up along the arm, he was also beautiful and pleasing to the eye. Zhang Cha was low in front of others for the first time. Ended up. She put her hand on her voice hoarse, please, help me. The man knelt down and took her hand, and then she fell into a warm embrace. Hey! Zhang Yurui shook his hand in front of Zhang Cha's eyes. Seeing her regained consciousness, he said amusedly, what do you want to be so focused? I asked you to have no response for a long time. Zhang Cha shook his head and said softly, it's okay. Zhang Yurui knew that she must have something, but Zhang Cha, his mouth was very hard, and what he didn't want to say was that he couldn't dig it out anyway. Zhang Yurui shrugged, if you don't want to say it, do you think about the question I just asked you? Problem? Zhang Cha was taken aback, what's the problem? Oh, she likes Shen Rang's question. Zhang Cha thought about it carefully, she should be more grateful to Shen Rang. But I don't know when she started. She seemed to have forgotten her gratitude to Shen Rang. She closed herself up and devoted herself to work, only to let her last life die in the late stage of cancer at a young age. Zhang Cha smiled at Zhang Yurui, you play with Zai for a while, and I will cook for Shen Rang. Zhang Cha waved his hand and walked straight to the kitchen. Zhang Yurui looked at the couple who were cooking in the kitchen for a few minutes and called Shen Ji over. Shen Ji sat beside her, Aunt Rui. Zhang Yurui looked serious, Aunt Rui asks you questions, you must answer honestly, you know. Yes. I ask you, does your mother like your dad? Shen Ji looked blank, hey. This question is too difficult, and it is beyond the knowledge of a 4-year-old. The author has something to say, although it is a hero of dog blood to save the United States, it is great to achieve a marriage XD. Random red envelopes.